If you send them Decibel 10 in your contact for a build, you'll get 10% off of your total build. What's up everybody, Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel here, and today we're going to be checking out the Gripper 3 Custom from Decibel Sound. Let's go. My journey down this road starts far before this bass even came into the picture. When I first started working with the Bass Channel, this bass brought out feelings in me that I hadn't felt in a long time, especially when it came to 4 strings. I got a chance to play this for some of the footage that we did in studio with Jeff Basso. He's also a regular contributor on the Guitar Channel. He was like shocked, and he's like, that's the most recordable sounding bass tone that I've ever heard. And it was direct. It was the bass to his console, and that was it. And listening to the playback in some of the older videos, I was like, I agree. It was very crisp, round, there was punchiness to it. It didn't fight you, and I don't know if it's a testament to the build quality from Gibson back then or whatever the magic combo was. You know, these are Bill Lawrence S1 pickups. These are the original Bill Lawrence S1 pickups, and a very simple setup. It's volume and tone, and it's got a 3-way selector. So the 1.5 situation is in the middle, all 3, up, front 2, back 2. And every single choice sounds good, but in the middle with all 3, that's the mojo. That's the sweet spot. This led me down this crazy rabbit hole, and I started doing as much reverb research as I could to see if I can get my hands on one of these, and they are available, but not very cheap. So that brings me back to this. Decibel Sound implements. I reached out to Jeremy McNeil, tremendous luthier. He's based out of Georgia. He has so many awesome, off-the-wall, really unique builds, and he has a lot of them that fall under that shadow of body shapes and designs that are unique, but also very much so, you know, tribute, for lack of a better word, to its predecessors, and that's where I came up with this. My whole goal was to use the same sauce, the same recipe that Gibson followed, minus the 46 year gap. April of 78, April of 2024, 46 years, 46 years between the two. I wanted the same situation. So maple neck, maple board, maple body. Jeremy reached out to Curtis Novak, and his obsessive compulsive detail when it comes to these recreation of these pickups is so astoundingly like accurate. He goes off like specs and the sheets from the original pickups and the design down to the winds, down to the wire, down to everything being exact. And that's exactly what these pickups are. These are Curtis Novak's kind of homage to the Bill Lawrence S1 pickups, and they sound phenomenal. This bass delivers, hands down. Is it exact like a 46-year-old instrument, like the one that it's modeled after? No. Does it sound good? Yeah. Does it stick out in a mix? Yes. Is it punchy? Does it give you tones that sound tremendous? Yes, absolutely. It hits all of those boxes. Boom, boom, boom. I lucked out that Jeremy had this color because blue is my favorite color ever. And it's a really beautiful kind of like metallic blue, and he has this kind of vintage shellac on the neck and the board. Cool little design with his company logo on the back of the neck plate too. All Hipshot hardware. Big thanks to Jason and all of the crew over at Hipshot for sending that over. Super appreciated, so we can get this to you. And this has been a long time coming, so we're a little behind on this, and I apologize to Jeremy, but I promise you to Jeremy and to everyone else, it's worth the wait. Here's some differences that we noticed with respect to the new build versus the 78. First thing that sticks out like a sore thumb is this bridge. This Hipshot bridge, tremendously different from this 46-year-old bridge on the G3. Is it something that I think weighs heavily in on the tone? No, I think it's gonna have some small effect, for lack of a better term, on the overall balance and the character that the bass has, but I don't think it's something that's gonna drastically change it. Another thing is the older 78 Gibson is string through. That's a string through body. Originally, that's how they were built, that's how it was made, that's how it was done. This is not. It is not string through. Chris ordered a set of 45 to 100 Elixir stainless strings. 2 sets. I took them to Made on Earth Guitars, Brandon Jones, our local luthier slash tech slash amazing guy for all things stringed in Vegas. He did the exact same setup for both instruments. So the instruments have the same string height. They're set up completely the same. The exact same strings. And everything else, according to what we know about the instruments, are equal. Maple body, maple neck, maple board, with the Curtis Novak historically accurate pickups being the same, from wire type to wines, etc. So everything, for all intents and purposes, minus the bridge and the string through parts that we discussed, are identical. Chris did some research on the Gibson builds back then and what their baseline prices were, and the baseline average price for these models, and this model particularly because of the finish, was slightly more expensive, but the baseline average in the mid-70s for this particular instrument through Gibson was $479. Now, when you adjust that to inflation for today's cost, it's roughly $2,300 and some change. These entry level with everything, as far as I know, depending on your specs and what you want, because obviously the more bells and whistles you want added, it adds up for everyone, you and Jeremy. But he's averaging $2,400 to $2,600 for a brand new build. So he's pretty much there. I think that's pretty awesome that his costs are right in line with where the cost would have been for exactly 46 year apart instruments from when they were coming off of a production floor, when they were all being built by hand by all of those guys out of Tennessee or wherever they were, Kalamazoo, I think it was, something like that, to now. And Jeremy's he's a one-man wrecking crew. Like it's pretty awesome that he's, even if it was inadvertent, that he's paying attention to his cost to make his instruments as affordable as possible with respect to the times that we're living in. And Jeremy is kind enough to offer a 10% discount through the bass channel. So if you contact him, and the contact information will be below, and you send him the, what do you call it? Just the phrase or the wording, Decibel 10. If you send him Decibel 10 in your contact for a build, you'll get 10% off of your total build. But if you're looking for a quality instrument custom built to your exact specs, from paint to finish to woods used to pickups, go check out Decibel Sound, man. Like, honestly, like some of the prices have come down a little bit on the older Gibsons you can find on Reverb, but still, you're taking a chance. Is that truss rod gonna work? Are there going to be issues with the electronics for a 40-plus-year-old instrument? Not all of them are gonna be as lucky as Chris's 78 that he has here, which is in pretty much immaculate condition. And yeah, the tone is very much so close, but also very much so different. Let us know in the comments what you thought. How do you think the Decibel Gripper 3 stood up against the G3? Thank you guys for watching, and gals and everyone in between. This is Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel, and we will see you next time.